Welcome back. We're so glad to have you with us again here on this historic day in Washington, D.C., celebrating the March for Life 2018. I'm Kelly Fedoric. I am legal counsel with Alliance Defending Freedom, and so excited to have with me here one of ADF's former clients, Sara Hellwege. She's a midwife from Alabama and also the president of the Christian Coalition of Nurse Practitioners. Sara, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, so Sara, you came up here just the other day, kind of last minute, to speak at a really exciting event that happened just yesterday. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of Civil Rights announced a new division, a division focusing on conscience and religious freedom to ensure that all Americans are never punished by the government or discriminated against because of their convictions. So it was really neat to have you there. But before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about your story. And you marched today at the March for Life. What was that like for you? And tell us a little bit also about your personal story and why you are pro-life.
Well, the march today was so encouraging to see that many thousands of people with a united cause, and to see our elected officials also there supporting us in that belief. So I am a child of a teenage pregnancy, and my mother decided that it would be in my best interest to place me in a loving home of two parents. And so I've always been brought up knowing that I was adopted and knowing of that sacrifice my mother decided to do. And so that's one thing that's given me a pro-life conviction, for sure.
Well, that's so beautiful, and we're so thankful to your birth mom for her courage and giving birth to you and making that sacrifice, too, to place you in a home with your parents. And we're obviously very thankful for your life and that you're here with us today. So you talked about this a little bit yesterday, about these things you learned growing up, about compassion and selflessness and treating people the way you would want to be treated. Talk about that, your upbringing, and how that influenced and drew you to becoming a midwife.
So my parents always taught me to see people as a sister or a brother or another parent, and to see the inherent dignity within each individual. And so I was placed into situations where I could see that, and I could see how to show compassion and show love in someone who might be facing a difficult circumstance.
So in 2014, you were getting ready to graduate from your graduate program, and you were applying for jobs when you suffered some pretty significant discrimination. Talk to us about what happened and what was going through your mind during that process.
So towards the end of my midwifery program, I began looking at different clinical sites to practice. And previously, I worked at a health department, and I really fell in love with working with that patient population. And so Tampa Family Health Center is one clinic that popped up. And so I applied there. And when I applied there, on my resume, it said that I was a member of the American Academy of Pro-Life OBGYNs. And I received communication back from the HR director stating that I was not going to move forward in the hiring process because of my membership in a pro-life organization.
So that's just shocking to me that they would question not only your conscience and your convictions, your commitment to doing no harm, as the Hippocratic Oath says, but that they would also question your membership in a pro-life organization. So, and that's ultimately what led you from they prevented you from even continuing with the interview process because of your membership and because of your pro-life views. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And how did that make you feel? What went through your mind?
It was kind of discouraging because I wanted to work with vulnerable populations, international populations, patients that might need more education, and it was just kind of sad that that was possible, and that someone would feel empowered to make that bold of a statement.
Right. Well, we're thankful for your courage. Alliance Defending Freedom was able to represent Sara and filed a federal lawsuit on her behalf because this center received federal dollars, and the law says that no entity, no healthcare center that receives federal funding can discriminate against a healthcare provider and force them to provide abortion, refer for abortion against their conscience. And one's pro-life views should never be the litmus tests under which they were able to get a job in the healthcare field or not, which kind of leads us back actually to yesterday and to this really exciting announcement that we had from Health and Human Services, their new renewed commitment to protecting conscience and making sure healthcare providers that we so desperately need more in the nation are able to have their conscience protected. So you were with Senator Langford yesterday and the acting secretary of HHS, and Leader McCarthy was there. Share as we close this evening sort of what went through your mind and what did it mean for you to be part of that historic moment to ensure that all healthcare providers, their conscience will be protected moving forward.
So as I said yesterday, I've talked to healthcare professionals, both physicians and other nurse practitioners and nurses who face discrimination within their workplace or when looking for a job or while they're a student. And so it meant so much to me that this administration is preventing discrimination, or there's now this new division within HHS that will work on those nurses and healthcare professionals' behalf.
Well, we're so thankful to you and for your courage. And as someone who has a lot of family in the healthcare field, I am so thankful too. ADF is very grateful that the department and this new administration is so committed to ensuring that patients will have more choices and finding those healthcare providers that share their values moving forward, and that all of us can be protected under the law here in the United States. So we hope you have a wonderful evening. Sarah, thank you for joining us, and we'll touch base with you guys later.